Good morning. This is the Solidworks Introduction associated with Activity 4.1D, an Introduction to Engineering Design. Starting out in Canvas, if you go to the Activity 4.1D, click on the Resources page, what you'll see is a short handout here called 4.1D.A, Software Modeling Introduction Modified. This has been modified for use with SolidWorks. Opening that file, you will see a Word document with instructions which we're going to work through. What we're going to be modeling today is we're going to be modeling a puzzle cube piece. And what we're going to work on is an extrusion instead of into a sketch plane or away from a sketch plane that is part of the model plane. We're going to go ahead and sketch on a surface and extrude this little end. So with that in mind, realize that each one of these is made up of a 0.75 inch cube that's glued to another cube. So this width is 2.25 inches, 0.75, 0.75 tall, 1.5 tall. So we'll need those dimensions. Starting out in SolidWorks, you should have something that looks like this. You don't have any file open. So let's get rolling on that. Let's go File, New, and select Part. Whether you're an advanced or novice, doesn't really matter. This is the novice view. Part, click OK. It'll take a moment and SolidWorks will open up. For an orientation over here, what we're going to look at, what I refer to as the tree, is this area over here. It has drawing specific or part specific features listed. I've got Command Managers is at the top. And I've got a heads up toolbar right here in the middle. Down in the lower right-hand corner, what I have is a status bar, and you can see that it tells me I'm editing a part. I'm in inch/pound/seconds mode. So let's start out with a sketch. Click on Sketch, and at that point, SolidWorks says, where do you want me to draw? We want to draw on the front plane because we're going to draw the front view. So as you hover over the front plane and hover over by the word front, you'll see that it illuminates with a bright orange border. Click on that and we appear normal to that sketch plane. That's a default setting that the class should have. You'll notice over here in the command tree that it says sketch 1, a minus symbol, meaning it's underdefined. The indication of underdefined in the lower right hand corner. So let's trace our L out real quick. We're not going to pay any attention really to dimensions. We're going to basically trace the shape. So as I approach that middle origin, you can see that I get what's called a coincident marker. And that coincident indicator is a little T with a green dot, and it's yellow as I drop my line. I drop it by clicking once, and then I drag my line out. You'll see that I get a yellow bar when I maintain a parallel path to the horizon. So I'm just going to drag it out here a little ways and drop it again. And now you'll see that yellow line turned into a green dot in the middle. That means that line is horizontal. And I get the same thing coming up vertical. Come up vertical, drop, across horizontal again. And now I want to make the leg on my L. So maintain those relationships, horizontal and vertical. As I come over to the origin, you'll see that blue line pop up. What that indicates is if you click here, you're going to drop so that it is a pure vertical drop down to the origin. So I'll drop there and then come down and touch my origin, and I get an orange dot. At this point, I'm done making lines. Now, if I keep clicking, I'm going to get more lines. So you want to be careful to either check your green or click your green check mark or hit escape. I'll hit escape. Both do the same thing and take you out of the command. Now you can see that I've got an underdefined sketch still. I've got some black lines, some blue lines. The blue lines are lacking definition of either location or size. So let's give it that. Clicking on Smart Dimension, what I want to do first is I want to give the overall width of the object. Now I'm going to click vertical line to vertical line to get the horizontal distance. We want that to be 2.25. I don't need to add a unit because I'm in the inch/pound/seconds. Again, I'm going to click my first step height, which is going to be 0.75 inches. My overall object height is going to be 1.5 inches. And the width of the neck will be 0.75 inches. Once I entered that last dimension, you can see I went from underdefined to fully defined in my status bar, as well as, when I get out of dimension, in my sketch. So you'll see under sketch 1, it no longer has the minus symbol. It's got the little green light, and it also shows me that it's based upon the origin and it goes to the front plane. That's where that sketch sets. So at this point, let's exit the sketch. Now you'll notice there is no minus sign in front of sketch 1. Our next step is to extrude that. So to extrude that sketch into a feature, I'm going to click on the Feature tab, Extruded Boss Base. Now because this is the only contour, sketch 1, within the drawing, it's going to select it. Now if you had multiple contours, you could select the one that you wanted to apply it to. What I want to do is come down here and I want to extrude 3/4 of an inch, 0.75, into the paper. So as I enter 0.75, you'll see that this arrow tells me which way it's going. This again was my plane. So this was the XY plane. So I want to reverse that direction. And there I am going into the paper, 0.75 inches. And click a check mark. My object now turns gray. And I can roll around and look at my object. All right, that's a good portion of what we're going to do. Now we need to add the nub, what I call the little protrusion. And what we want to do here, we reduce this in size. Let me hit my F key, which will recenter it for me. And I'm going to just scooch over a little bit here. There we go. So what I've got to do is I've got to add the protrusion, which is this little stub. It is a 3/4 inch cube, which will be glued onto our puzzle piece. So with that said, let's go ahead and start another sketch. This time, instead of sketching in a plane from the drawing, we're going to select a plane from the object in the form of this front face. So I'm going to come back over, click on Sketch, except now I want to select my face where I'm going to sketch. It goes normal, in other words, it goes 90 degrees to it. And I'm going to pick on a square. Once I have my square tool up, I'll come down to my lower right-hand corner and look for an orange dot. That means I'm at the point where those two lines meet. Exactly. From there, I'm going to click once and drop, and then drag my box up. If I drag till I'm coincident with the top edge, you'll see I get that coincident marker. If I don't, then I don't get any kind of a marker. So let's do both here. There's I am coincident with the top. That is the box that I want, so I click on my check mark, and now I need to dimension the size of the box. So if I click the width of the box and drop a dimension, let's make that 0.75. But notice that if I click the height, I said I was coincident at the bottom and the top with the existing object. I get this message. This message is just telling me that SolidWorks already knows the height of the box because I have based it upon the underlying sketch, which I declared at 0.75. So I can either make this dimension driven, in other words, that it is sized by something else, or I can change it to a driving dimension, which will goof up the sketch a little bit. I'm going to do neither. I just click cancel because I don't need it. You also see when I did that it was over-defined, meaning that I have given SolidWorks a command, two different size commands for the same feature. Okay, since I'm fully defined, and you can see it over on my tree, my minus sign went away. You can see it down in the lower right-hand corner. You see it in the sketch itself because all the features are black instead of blue. Once I've got that fully defined sketch, I'm going to go ahead and click Exit Sketch. Now if I Press down on my mouse wheel, roll my model slightly. I'm now ready to extrude that feature. So under Features, Extruded Boss Base, again, SolidWorks is guessing what we want to extrude. Now we can pick the contour down here if we so desire. You could see I can pick a different contour. And this says Sketch 2 minus Region 1. The other one is Sketch 2. But just select Sketch 2. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Sketch 2. And we want to extrude it 3/4 of an inch. You see that I can again pick my direction. I want to come towards me to make the L, and I want to merge the result. That just means that the body that's extruded will be formed onto and fused with the body it is extruding from. So click my check mark, and voila, we've got the part shape. Well, that's half the battle. What I'm going to show you now is really a way to color your puzzle pieces. So to select a different color, what I want to do is come up and click on Edit Appearance. When I do select Edit Appearance, it defaults to color. And what I want to do is I want to come over and highlight the part. So I click on Select Part, the top button, and then hover over and select my object. So now my part name, Part 2, SLDPRT appears. Also the Boss Extrude appears. I want to pick a color. I'm going to pick green. And as soon as I pick green, you see that it applies. I can choose different display states and do some different things, which I don't really want to get into right now. So this is enough. We just want to shade it green. Now this is useful for laying out your parts. It's also useful when you design other components that will be assembled into a larger either part or a larger assembly. So accept that, check the green check mark. And what you have just done is you have just made yourself a little green cube. This is the conclusion of IAD 41, Introduction to Engineering Design, Module 4.1D, SolidWorks Extrusion and Coloring. Save your file. I recommend that you save it to a folder that will follow you on your desktop and name it 4.1D sample. At that point, you can close out of SolidWorks, and good day.